During this video I'm going to explain how to make a double crochet stitch sampler. We're going to create a piece of fabric using double crochet stitches. We're going to go through how to create a chain, how to work the first row in the chain, and then how to create subsequent rows. The pattern begins with a starting chain of 11 chains. Begin with a slip knot and chain 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Just take a moment to look at your chain. Along the front of the chain we have the front loops, and along the back of the chain we have the back loops. Usually when we crochet under the front loop and under the back loop. This can be difficult on the initial chain, so for the first row and the first row only we're going to double crochet under the back loops, leaving the front loops behind. So we've created 11 chains, 10 chains plus 1 turning chain. We are now going to put double crochet stitches into each and every one of those chains. In the pattern it is as follows: 1 double crochet into the second chain from the hook, 1 double crochet into each of the next 9 chains. So on this card we have the instructions of how to create our double crochet stitch. So we're going to ignore the first chain and work into the second chain from the hook. Going to insert hook, yarn over, pull a loop through. We now have 2 chains on the hook. We yarn over, we take 2 chains off. Okay. So the next chain along is here. Insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull that loop through the 2 chains on the hook. So now you can see we have 2 double crochet stitches, and we can pop a stitch marker into the top of the first stitch on that row. So here's the stitch again. Now work into the next chain along, insert hook, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, 2 off. Insert hook, yarn over, pull loop through, yarn over, 2 off. We now have 4 stitches. I'm going to carry on putting our double crochet stitches under the back loops. If you're struggling to find those back loops, put your chain on the table and stretch it. Start at the end, at the tail end, and find your pairs, your front and back loop pairs. There's a pair, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we've hit the stitch, we know that that back loop there is the next stitch that we want to be working in, because the next back loop is already taken. Insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, 2 off, insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, 2 off, insert hook, yarn over, pull loop through, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through, insert hook, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through, insert hook, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, take 2 off, and there's the last stitch. Insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, 2 off. Place your work on the table and just pull the bottom edge. We should have 10 stitches. Okay, if we look at the top edge of our work, there's our first stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's how you complete your first row. Now we're going to complete the second row. Looking at the pattern, we have to turn, chain 1, ignore the chain 1, and then place 1 double crochet into each of the next 10 stitches. On the diagram it looks like this: chain 1, 1 double crochet into each of the next 10 stitches. So we are going to turn our work as if we're turning the pages of the book. Then we will chain 1, and we're going to ignore the first chain. This is called a turning chain and does not count as a stitch. And we're going to put our hook under the front and back loops into this hole here in order to create the stitch. Insert hook, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, 2 off. Find the next stitch along, that's here, front and back loop, obvious hole here, insert hook, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, take the loop through the 2 loops on the hook. There's the next stitch, check on the top, we're going under the front and the back loop, insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, 2 off, insert hook, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, 2 off. Insert hook, yarn over, pull loop through, yarn over, two off. If we stretch our work and place it on the table, we can have a little look at what we've done so far. Here's the first stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we look on the top, we can count our pairs of loops, our front and back loops. There's our first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's really worth having a good look and getting used to where those stitches are. At this point, we can put a stitch marker underneath the front and back loops of the first stitch. So we have 5 stitches left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The stitch marker is in the first stitch of the row below. So that will be the very last stitch of this row will go in there. Okay. So hook, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, 2 off, insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, 2 off, insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, 2 off, insert hook, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and off. We're on the last stitch. I'm going to take the last stitch out, insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and off. Check we've got 10 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Our stitch consists of a front and a back loop. And if we turn it to the front, and 2 vertical parts make the post. These 2 vertical bars create like a V shape. That is the front of the stitch. That is the top of the stitch. So now, if we go back to the pattern, row 3 is a repeat of row 2. So we will turn, chain 1, ignore the chain 1, and 1 double crochet into each of the next 10 stitches. Chain 1, ignore the chain 1, that first stitch goes above the last stitch from the previous row, and 1 double crochet stitch into each and every stitch, and it continues to do the same until you get your swatch. So to recap, and on this row we'll look at refining our stitches a bit as well. So we chain 1 and turn like a book, or you can turn and then chain 1, and it's up to you. So we ignore the first chain, that chain there, and we're going to go into the first stitch. Insert hook, push stitches all the way up to the handle, yarn over, pull through, again push stitches all the way up to the handle, bring the stitches above your work, not in front, yarn over and off. So insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and off, insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, off. If you find your stitches are tight, it's probably because you're working on the very thin neck of the hook and not pushing your stitches along. Again, it might be because you're leaving your loops at the front of your work instead of bringing them up to the top. Bring them up to the top, it elongates the stitch, so when it falls off the stitch it's nice and plump and takes up space rather than being really stretched tight and creating lots of holes. Insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and off. Insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and off. Insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and off. Insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and off. This is a good point to work back to your first stitch. Mark your first stitch, and we know where it is when we come back to it on the next row. Insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and off. Insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and off. And that is the end of row 3. So you would continue chaining 1, putting 10 stitches in, backwards and forwards until you create a little swatch like this, where you can begin to see that every 2 rows we have what I call a valley row, and every 2 rows here we have a peak row. So from this channel here to this channel here, that's 2 rows, 2 rows, 2 rows. Double crochet makes a nice dense piece of fabric, perfect for creating stuffed items like this. And that's how you create a double crochet swatch following the stitch sampler pattern.